Hey guys, happy Resurrection Sunday. I hope you guys are having a great day. I am just on here to give a quick word. So I have my notebook in front of me. I was in praise and worship and prayer this morning before I left my hotel room because when I just came back from the hospital from seeing my sister, and I'm about to go see my other sister. And then I'll go back to the hospital later tonight. And of course, tomorrow I'll be there until I leave to take off. But again, thank you guys for your prayers, just your seeds, just all your prayers are the biggest seeds ever. So thank you guys for covering us. Thank you for all seeds, just for all your love, all your kindness, for everything. Because yeah, you guys are just awesome. But I came back to the hotel room really quickly because my hotel room, I think I told you guys this yesterday, is like 10-15 minutes away from the hospital, so it's perfect location to my sister. And she's doing great. I'm gonna do a post later so you guys can see her, but she says thank you for your prayers. I told her, I said, my friends are praying for you, and she's like, tell them I said thank you and I appreciate it. I was talking about you guys because y'all are my friends, my brothers and sisters. So I was in praise and worship this morning. Of course, I didn't go to church. I'm out of town. My main purpose here was to come see my sister, and we are the church. So I have no problem with prayer and worship by myself. I normally don't go to church on holidays anyways, because that's when all the people come that never go to church. And I want to make room for them. That's what my pastor said one time. He said, don't get mad because you come to church on a holiday and the parking lot is full and the church is full. He's like, you come all the time. Let the people that only come twice a year or 3 times a year for Easter, Christmas, and New Year's, he's like, or Mother's Day or whatever. He's like, let the people that only come from the holidays come for the holidays come. He's like, just watch from home. It's okay. But yeah, I never hardly go to church on holidays because it's always crowded because everybody comes. But let's praise for them because they don't normally come. So I don't have a problem making room, okay? So in my time with the Lord this morning, the Lord was speaking about maximum capacity and weight. Okay, many of you guys are taking off in this season. This is your season of takeoff, right? Your flight, your plane is taking off in whatever direction God has you going in. You know that you've been called for such a time as this. So what has been dead for a long time, years, months, decades, whatever, it's takeoff time. It's resurrection time, right? It's time for that thing to be lifted off the ground, out of the ground, right? So it's takeoff for many of you guys, but the Lord was speaking to me about weight and capacity. And he was saying where he's taking you, you cannot go over the baggage or weight limit. Where he's taking you, you cannot go over the baggage or weight limit. You can't prepare for the unexpected mishaps. You will have to trust him to supply your needs if the unknown happens and not depend on your own power. You will only be able to take off properly if your flight isn't over capacity. Okay? Just like when we get ready to fly on an airplane, right? We are only allowed a certain weight of bags, right? Our bags have a weight capacity, right? I flew with Southwest. They're like my favorite airline because you can take 2 bags up to 50 pounds and you don't have to pay extra for it. It's included in the price of your flight, right? So you can take 2 bags up to 50 pounds, 2 checked bags, and then you take your carry-on and your personal bag, like your purse and stuff, right? But some airlines, that's not their max capacity. Some airlines, you could only check 1 bag and it's 40 pounds, no more than 40 pounds. And then you take a personal bag. Some flights, you don't have a carry-on. You have to pay for a carry-on. You have to pay for those checked bags. But the capacity and the weight is different. For every single airline, for every single plane, it's different. And the reason why they have a maximum capacity as far as how many people can be on a plane, how many pounds your bags can weigh, is because that plane has to maintain a certain weight. That plane cannot take off if its maximum capacity is over the limit. If they have too many people, if the seats are full, the plane is done. Whoever's left, they have to catch another flight. If the weight limit is over, that flight cannot take off. Or that flight, have you guys ever let me use Aaliyah, for example, Lord rest her soul. But they say the reason why her plane crashed was because it was over the maximum capacity for weight. There was too many bags, instruments, and stuff on that plane. That's one of the reasons why they said the plane went down and the engine failed. That plane could only hold a certain amount of people and a certain amount of weight in general. So the weight is the bags plus the people on board. Plus there's only enough seats for so many bodies. Or that plane cannot take off. It's only made to handle a certain weight limit. And God is saying, many of you are taking flight, but you can't take everything and everybody with you. You have a maximum weight limit. You have a maximum capacity for that flight. So make sure that if God has told you to close doors, to downsize, to get rid of things, that you are following his lead so that your flight can take off properly, so that it is not a failed takeoff, so that your flight is not hindered, so that there are no issues and it takes off without any problems. So that God doesn't have to get on that plane and say, you can't take this with you. Get rid of it so that we can take off. Get rid of it so that we can close the doors. Make sure that when it's time for you to take flight, you just sit down, buckle up, and let God be the pilot and take you in the direction that he has destined for you for such a time as this. There's a maximum capacity and there's a maximum weight limit. If the weight limit is over, it holds you down, it slows you down, it weighs you down. Make sure that your maximum capacity is not over. Make sure that your weight limit is not over so that you can take off properly. It's the same with an elevator. Anytime you get on an elevator to go up, it tells you what the maximum capacity in weight is. The elevator here, it's 3,000 pounds. Anything over that, the elevator will not work properly. It can break down. We can be stuck in the elevator. People could end up hurt when an elevator decides to go down really quickly and it's broken and it's sinking and it's just going. Many people have died on an elevator because the elevator have crashed. There's a maximum weight capacity. Some elevators is 2,000 pounds. So once that weight limit is met, that's it. Nobody else can get on. Another pound cannot get on. The elevator can't take it. There's a weight capacity for that elevator to be able to properly go up. There's a maximum capacity. There's a maximum weight capacity for where God is taking you. It's takeoff time for many of you. This is not for everybody, so know your season. But there's a maximum weight capacity. What has been dormant, it's time for it to take off. That flight that's just been circling the grounds, it's time for it to take off. But there's a maximum weight capacity. Make sure you're not over that. And whatever God has told you to get rid of it. Get rid of it. And he used a situation. I always overpack. I don't care where I'm going. If I'm going for 2-3 days, I overpack. I am an overpacker. I pack for emergencies. Let me take a couple of few days extra of pajamas, of underwear, of bras, just in case. God is saying you can't rely on your own sources for just in case. He got you. If he feeds the birds and the animals of this world, he got you. How much more will he do for you as his child? You cannot prepare for emergencies. He is your backup plan, and he's saying use him. You don't have to overpack. I packed my luggage. I have my 50-pound luggage, and I checked a little carry-on bag too. And then I wore leggings on my flight. And I said, I'm going to throw some extra leggings in my bag just in case a hole or something happens. I don't know. It's leggings. You just never know, right? So I threw an extra leggings in my purse, right? And I had on a pair of leggings. When I got here, my niece took me to my hotel room. I dropped my luggage off and I took those leggings out of my purse, right? And we went to go have lunch. As I was getting out the car to go have lunch with her, I was pulling my leggings up. And as I was pulling them up, my fingernails went through the leggings and put a hole in the front of one of them, right? It was a hole on my thigh, right? And I'm like, man, and I just took my leggings out back at the hotel room. Otherwise, I would have just changed. I was telling my niece what happened, and her response was everything. She said, nobody can even tell that there's a hole there. She said, I only know because you pointed it out. Come on, Holy Spirit. God is saying nobody's going to notice what mishaps, what quote unquote emergency situations may arise. They only know what you point out. But God is saying, just continue. That hole in my leggings didn't interfere with anything. I was still able to go and have lunch and do all the things. It wasn't noticeable. I knew it was there. So whoever I pointed it out to would know that it's there. But my niece said, I can't even see that. She said, just go to the hospital. You don't need a change. I can't see that hole. But God had made sure that when I got to that hotel room, I took those leggings out because there was a word in it. He's saying, you don't need backup for emergency situations. Emergency situations may arise, unexpected things may arise, but you're still going to get to that destination because God is your backup plan and he's already ordained for you to get to that place. You don't have to pack over so that you can prepare for emergencies. He is your backup plan. He's your Alpha and your Omega. He's your front and your back. He got you. I was still able to go about my business with that hole in my leggings. It bothered me because it was an inconvenience to me. But nobody else around me noticed a hole. Nobody else was paying attention but me. I was still able to go and do what I had to do with that hole in my leggings. Yeah, it would have been easier if I still had the backup pair in my purse. But God knew to have me take that out for a reason. Because there is no backup. The backup isn't in man's hands. It's in his hands. He got you. That hole didn't stop me from doing what I had to do, from going where I had to go. That is the word, guys. Make sure you are not over capacity. Make sure your weight limit is not over, because if it is, you can't take off properly. You're going to have to sit there, waste time, and get rid of some things. So if God has told you to prepare, to downsize, and don't look at this as just let me throw some things out and clean the house. No, look at this spiritually. There's some people that can't come with you. They're adding unnecessary weight and it's causing you to go slower. I was listening to Pastor Bronner and he said people don't know when they're driving a car and their trunk is junky, they're burning more fuel because the car has to work a little bit harder because there's added weight on that car. So it burns more fuel. If your trunk is junky, he said, get rid of what's in your trunk. Get rid of what you're holding on to that's unnecessary, the stuff that's been in your trunk for months. One thing about me, I keep a clean car. I don't play no games. I'm OCD, y'all. Even when it comes to my house, I like stuff clean. So my trunk is normally always empty besides reusable grocery bags because I use those. I need those. But my trunk stays clear. When your trunk is filled with things that you don't use, it makes the car work harder, so you burn more gas and you end up coming out of the pocket with more money than you would have if your trunk was cleared out. God is saying it's takeoff for many of you guys. It's resurrection, takeoff. Things are moving up. Things that were once not moving, dead, them things moving. It's takeoff time. But make sure your weight limit is not over what God is allowing. Make sure the capacity is not over what God is allowing. Close the doors that need to be closed. Get rid of the people that need to be gone. They were there for a season. They were probably a divine connection for that season. No more. It's a new season. Somebody needed to hear this today. So before I go and meet my sister, I was going to release this word because y'all know, regardless of what God has me doing, when God puts a word on my heart, I'm going to release it. I don't care where I am, what I'm doing. I have a ministry, okay? I have a dedication to God. So that's the word, y'all. I love you. Have a blessed day. We'll talk soon. Bye, guys.